Good afternoon, staff. My name is Robert Milton, your new Vice Principal. I'd like to take this opportunity to explain my role as the administrator and what I expect from you throughout the school year. First, let me give a little background knowledge on myself. I've been teaching for over 10 years in the elementary and secondary level. Was PTA president, served as the head coach for basketball and football. Now on a supervisory level, I served as the supervisor of the social studies department in my school, and also I was the vice principal previously at my previous school. Now, this meeting will center around my role as an administrator and what I expect from you. Let's begin. During the duration of the school year, at faculty meetings, I will serve as a facilitator of discussions that relate to the building and Board of Ed goals and focus areas. Report on any issues that pertain to student discipline or behavior. Ensure meetings remain focused and productive, and be sure to provide opportunities for our staff to provide feedback. Whenever I attend a grade level meeting, which I will visit on my cycle, my role will vary. Depending on the topic or the level of need, I will sometimes observe, facilitate, or participate at grade level meetings. My main goal is to hear what issues or concerns that might arise in each academic department. And there might be instances when I might have to visit the academic department out of turn if there's a pressing issue that needs to be addressed. I fully believe that the faculty meetings and grade level meetings are a place where communication between the staff and administration can be accomplished. I want staff members to feel they can express their concerns or ideas during these meetings. For this reason, I expect staff members to actively take part in discussion, fully participate as opportunities for participation arises, and be open to new ideas and perspectives. Be honest, and to follow through on agreements made during these meetings. Since the ultimate goal or concern for our school is the students and their learning, I will give clear communication of goals and expectations I have for you and for the students. I hope that everyone here is committed to raising student achievement and will have 100% commitment from you guys. I use professional development days, building meetings, and feedback through observations to make sure these goals and expectations are being communicated. Firstly, several professional development days will be directed at ways of improving instruction and student achievement. Secondly, at team, faculty, and department meetings, we will discuss best practices, progress and challenges, reading instructions, and achievement. Thirdly, I will be giving specific feedback in the form of formal and informal observation on if you are properly using best practices in improving instructions and how to effectively use best practices in your classroom if it's not evident. Now lastly, I want to stress that the support staff plays just as a significant role in obtaining these goals. I promise any best practices used to improve instruction will be justified by research and proven best practices, as well as data from our school. We will also celebrate the instructional success and the rise in student achievement when they do happen. I expect the child study team and the guidance department to focus on each student of their students in their caseload, monitor their progress regularly, and spend time to get resources together and make sure changes to programs as needed to help the individual student achieve at the highest possible level. Support staff must also engage in frequent, meaningful communication with the primary teacher of each student they support. These communications should include lesson planning details, expectations, challenges and success, strengths and weaknesses of students, and methods for alternative assessment. At the end of the day, we have to make sure that all our hard work is valid. With all our planning and instruction, we have to make sure the standards are also included in all our lessons. The standards are here to raise the bar and to make sure students achieve. We might as well make the most of them, right? If what is taught is not being closely aligned with what is assessed, students will not properly be prepared. Along with teachers, I will start curriculum mapping so we can collectively have a better understanding of what you're responsible for. I'm also asking teachers to collect data on specific sets of indicators aligned to the standards. During curriculum writing and revision sessions, I will ensure that the standards are properly unpacked and that all essential questions and enduring understandings are aligned to a performance indicator or standard. Now, fortunately, there will be students who slip through the net and perform poorly, despite all our resources provided to him or her. Poor student performance is usually a multifaceted issue, and in that right, there are many situations or causes I have to examine to determine the reason for poor performance in an individual student. I will seek trends in testing data for previous years, interviews with teachers and students to assess in-class performance, IRNS team meetings, report card data, classroom observations, meetings with parents to assess home habits and attitudes, and also meet with the guidance counselor to explore social and emotional development, and assess of home impact on performance as revenues to determine causes of poor performance. In each instance where a student does not perform well, I will examine the teacher's performance as well. Although classroom observations are the main source of teacher performance, I will take into account other tools to gather data on teacher performance and lack thereof. We must have an effective evaluation system and performance tool that measures teacher performance to ensure that students' performance continues to improve through teacher excellence. Your principal and I will examine the quality and frequency of PD opportunities that were made available, examine the level of clarity of expectations that were communicated, assess teaching and other classroom grade levels to determine if this concern is isolated or systematic across the faculty. I'll be using measure of growth in student learning as a significant part of evaluations and will make sure a satisfactory or exemplary rating cannot be received if the student's growth is low. Test data and conversations with students and parents will be used as well to assess student growth. I'll be conducting at least 2 formal evaluations for tenured teachers and 3 for non-tenured. I will also be conducting random walkthroughs throughout the year. Formal evaluations will include a pre-op, with notice when I will be conducting the actual observation, and a post-observation to discuss what was observed. I will be providing ongoing deliberate feedback on performance because I believe feedback is important for teachers at any stage of their career. Now, an example of the criteria that I will use to evaluate our teachers. There are 5 major indicators. The first one is instructional planning skills. Under those, I'll be looking for goals and objectives, managing instruction, scope and sequence. Now, for personal and professional development, I'll be looking at policy and procedure actions, interpersonal and public relations skills, and commitment, enthusiasm, and concern. For pupil indicators of progress, I'll be looking for graded evaluations, non-graded evaluations, state and local testing assessment programs, and finally, utilization of these assessments. You can receive either an effective, not effective, or non-applicable. Now, before teachers can be effectively held accountable for student performance, we must guarantee that the tools being used to measure performance are accurate and can accurately assess an individual's impact on the learning progress of a particular student. I will take a look at the whole scenario and treat each case in an individual manner. I understand that students might not thrive no matter how much support he or she is given. I understand that students might have a bad day, week, or year. And many times, students can not do well on assessments because of medical, emotional, or even learning issues. Holding teachers accountable for poor performance based on one test is unfair and it's unjust. Even using a tool such as the NJ Ask as the only deterrent can prove to be biased. It would be very wrong Institutions at ATS, the company that designs the New Jersey AS, has stated in multiple synopsis that their test is not meant to measure their teachers' performance and is statistically impossible to accurately do so if the NJ asks. Having stated that, teachers can be held accountable for student performance in these following ways. 1. Examining the intervention and opportunities for differentiating provided to students. 2. Examining end of the marking quarter data for inconsistencies across teachers and grade levels. And lastly, incorporating information about students' performance into observations and summative evaluations. Professional development would be based on new initiatives from the state and district. Focus on best practices that need to be implemented more regularly or more accurately. Test data, students and parent feedback, and things seen in observations. PD must always be aligned to building and district goals. Also, whenever possible, PD should be differentiated so staff can work at different levels of competency throughout the PD or incorporate elements of their choice. Topics can be determined based on the board focus areas and initiatives. Area of weakness as indicated in observations and assessment data and current successful trends in education. Excuse me. Now, while there are various considerations that must be taken into account with faculty members at different stages of their career, I feel it is critical that all staff are held to the same high expectations of excellent teaching. Teachers should assume leadership roles in committees as team leaders, master teachers, in extracurricular capacities, and on district initiatives. Feedback and PD for novice teachers might revolve around more basic strategies and will likely incorporate more classroom management skills than veteran teachers. Veteran teachers should be praised for their best practices and should be used as a model for more novice teachers through their informal peer observations. Veteran staff may need additional encouragement and time to try new strategies to apply new resources and new technologies. Now, hopefully I've addressed all your questions about the role I will play at your school. I want you to know that we are all in this together, and our main goal is to help students achieve. If there's anything I could do to help with your planning and instruction, please let me know. My door is always open, and I look forward to getting to know each and every one of you this year. Thank you for your time, and have a great day.